My girlfriend texted, "I'm ready to move in with you, but my ex is coming too." I replied, "Interesting arrangement." Then I sent her apartment listings for places she could share with him instead. Her confused call about not understanding the plan revealed. I, 31 male, have been with my girlfriend, 28, for about 14 months. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party, hit it off immediately, and things moved pretty smoothly from there. She's smart, funny, gorgeous, basically everything I thought I wanted. 6 months ago, I bought a house. Nothing fancy, just a 3-bedroom fixer-upper that I've been slowly renovating. New kitchen, refinished floors, fresh paint. It's mine, mortgage in my name only, and I'm proud of it. Took me 8 years of saving and living in cramped apartments to afford that down payment. My girlfriend's lease was ending next month, and we'd been casually talking about her moving in. Nothing formal, just wouldn't it be nice conversations. I was warming up to the idea. We spend most weekends together anyway, and she'd been hinting about saving money on rent. Then came the text. Tuesday evening, I'm at home, rewiring a light fixture when my phone buzzes. Her babe, "Great news, I'm finally ready to move in with you. But there's one thing we need to discuss. My ex is coming too. He needs a place, and your house has 3 bedrooms. It makes sense." I read it 3 times, then a 4th time. Checked if maybe I was having a stroke. Her ex, the guy she dated for 4 years before me, the one she's still friends with because they have history. The one who comments heart emojis on her Instagram posts that I've politely ignored because I'm not the jealous type. The one who calls her at 11 p.m. times just to talk about his emotional stuff. That ex. Moving into my house. With US. I sat down on my half-finished kitchen floor and just processed. My reply, interesting arrangement. Then I opened Zillow, screenshotted about 8 apartment listings in decent neighborhoods. 2 bedrooms, reasonable prices, $1,400 to $1,800 range, and sent them to her. Me, "Here are some options for you and him to look at together. Good luck with the search." My phone rang immediately. "What? Babe, I don't understand. What plan? These are apartments." "Yeah, for you and your ex to share, since you want to live with him so badly." No, you're not understanding. We'd all live together, in your house. It's 3 bedrooms. He'd take the guest room. It's perfect. Perfect for who exactly? For everyone. He's going through a hard time. His roommate kicked him out over some disagreement about dishes or something. He has nowhere to go. And we're all adults here. I thought you'd be supportive. Supportive of my girlfriend moving her ex-boyfriend into my house? You're making it weird. I'm making it weird? You just asked me to become roommates with a guy who used to sleep with you for 4 years. She went quiet for a second. Then, he's not just a guy. He's important to me. And if you can't handle that, maybe you're not as mature as I thought. The audacity. The absolute audacity. "Here's what I can handle," I said, keeping my voice level. "I can handle you moving in, alone, or I can handle you finding a place with him. What I cannot handle is both. Pick one." "That's not fair. You're giving me an ultimatum." "No, I'm giving you clarity. Your ex is not moving into my house. Ever. If that's a deal breaker for you, then I guess we know where we stand." "But he'd pay rent. He said he could do $400 a month. That would help with your mortgage." "I don't need help with my mortgage. I need a girlfriend who understands boundaries." She hung up on me. I went back to rewiring the light fixture. Honestly, I was calmer than I expected. Maybe because some part of me had been waiting for the other shoe to drop. Things had been too good. Or too good at ignoring the obvious. 2 hours later, she texted, "You're being ridiculous. We'll talk when you've calmed down." I didn't respond. There was nothing to say. Update 1. 5 days later. So it's been 5 days of radio silence from my end. Not ignoring her exactly, just not engaging with the manipulation attempts. She's texted maybe 30 times. The messages have followed a predictable pattern. Days 1 to 2, "Can we please talk about this like adults?" Followed by, "I miss you." Followed by, "This is so unlike you." Day 3, "I can't believe you're being so immature about this. My mom says you're showing your true colors." Day 4, "My friends all think you're being controlling. They say this is a red flag." The irony of her calling something a red flag was not lost on me. Day 5, "Fine. I'll tell him he can't move in. Happy now?" That last one was interesting. Not I realize I was wrong or I'm sorry for suggesting something insane. Just fine. I'll tell him no, like she was doing me some massive favor by not moving her ex into my house. I responded, we should talk in person. She came over that night, brought wine like everything was fine. I didn't open it. The conversation started reasonable enough. She sat on my new couch, looked around at the renovations, and said, "The place looks really good. Those built-ins in the living room are gorgeous." "Thanks. Been working on it." Look, I get that the whole thing came out wrong. I should have talked to you first before just texting it like that. Bad delivery on my part. That's part of it, yeah. But you have to understand where I'm coming from. He's been my friend for years. He's struggling. He just got fired from his job last month. Did I tell you that? And his roommate situation fell apart. I was just trying to help someone I care about. By moving him into your boyfriend's house without asking? I asked. That's literally what I did. You announced. There's a difference. You said he's coming too, like it was already decided, like my only job was to say yes and be grateful. She rolled her eyes. Semantics. It's really not. And even if you had asked properly, the answer would still be no. Why though? Give me one good reason. He's your ex-boyfriend. So, that was years ago. We're just friends now. Friends who you want to live with, in your current boyfriend's house. You really don't see the issue? She crossed her arms. So what, I'm just supposed to abandon him? Let him end up on the street? He's a grown man. He can find his own apartment, get a roommate, move back with his parents. There are options that don't involve my house. He can't afford a place alone right now, and his parents live 3 states away. Then he can get a roommate, someone who isn't his ex-girlfriend's current boyfriend. She stared at me like I'd suggested he live on the moon. You really don't get it. Enlighten me. He and I have been through everything together. 4 years, college, our first jobs, all of it. You don't just throw that away because some new guy is insecure about it. Some new guy. 14 months together. I've met her parents, she's met mine, we've talked about future plans, marriage timelines, whether we want kids, and I'm some new guy. Got it, I said quietly. Got what? Where I rank. Don't do that. Don't twist my words. I'm not twisting anything. You just told me exactly how you see this relationship. 14 months apparently doesn't compete with 4 years of history. She backpedaled fast. That's not what I meant. I just meant you and I are newer. He and I have history. It's different energy. You're right, it is different, because you and I are supposedly building a future together, and you and he are supposed to be in the past. He is in the past, romantically. We're just friends now. Why can't you understand that? Friends who you want to live with, down the hall from our bedroom, while we're trying to build a relationship. She threw her hands up. I already said I'd tell him no. What more do you want from me? I want to understand why you thought this was okay in the first place. I want to understand why your first instinct was to volunteer my house for your ex without considering how I might feel about it. Because I didn't think it was a big deal. God, you're making this into something it's not. I looked at her for a long moment. Really looked. And I saw someone who genuinely didn't understand why I was upset. Not pretending not to understand, actually truly confused about why her boyfriend wouldn't want her ex-boyfriend as a roommate. I think you should go. What? We're in the middle of a conversation? No, we're going in circles. You still don't see the problem. You think I'm being unreasonable for not wanting your ex-boyfriend living down the hall from our bedroom. That tells me everything I need to know about where your head is. So that's it? You're breaking up with me over this? I'm asking you to leave so we can both think. We can talk more later. She gathered her stuff, muttering about how I was overreacting and being dramatic and letting my insecurities win. At the door, she turned back. You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe we do need space. Call me when you're ready to be reasonable about this. She left. 3 hours later, I got a text from her best friend. Wow. Can't believe you kicked her out for trying to help someone. Real nice. She's crying her eyes out, Erin. I didn't respond. The next morning, a text from her mom. I raised my daughter to be compassionate and giving. It's genuinely sad that you can't appreciate that quality in her. Her mom. She got her mom involved overnight. I still didn't respond. What was there to say? Update 2. 2 weeks later. Buckle up, because this is where things got genuinely insane. After the conversation at my house, I figured we were on a break. Maybe permanent, maybe not. I needed time to think about whether this relationship was salvageable, whether I even wanted it to be. What I didn't expect was the full court press. Her ex showed up at my house. Yeah, he came to my door on a Saturday morning, 9 a.m. I opened it expecting a package delivery, and there he was. Tall guy, kind of sloppy looking, wearing a wrinkled band t-shirt and jeans that had seen better days. He had this apologetic expression that I immediately didn't trust. "Hey man, can we talk?" "About what?" "About this whole situation. I think there's been a misunderstanding." "I don't think there has been." He shifted uncomfortably. "Look, I know how it looks, but she and I are really just friends now, have been for years. I'm not trying to get between you two or anything weird like that." "Then why are you here?" "Because she's really upset, like really upset, and I feel bad that I'm the cause of all this drama." "You're not the cause. She is. She made a ridiculous request and got upset when I said no." "Was it that ridiculous though?" He tilted his head like he was genuinely considering it. "I mean, lots of people have unconventional living arrangements these days. I have friends who live with their exes and it's totally chill. Good for them. That's not happening here. But if you got to know me, you'd see I'm not a threat. I'm just a guy who needs a place to crash for a few months." "A few months?" she said indefinitely. He blinked. "Oh, well, I mean, yeah, but it wouldn't be forever. Just until I get back on my feet. I don't care if it's 2 days. You're not moving into my house. I don't want to know you. I want you to leave my property." His expression shifted. Less apologetic, more annoyed. A little bit of the mask slipping. "You know, she said you were cool, said you were different from other guys. Guess she was wrong." "Guess so. Goodbye." I closed the door, stood there for a minute, heart pounding, wondering if that had really just happened. 20 minutes later, my phone blew up. My girlfriend. "I can't believe you were so rude to him. He was trying to make peace." Me. "He showed up uninvited at my house at 9 a.m. to pressure me into letting him move in. That's not making peace, that's harassment." Her harassment? He was being nice. "You're so paranoid. Not everything is some conspiracy against you." Me. "I'm not paranoid. I'm done. This relationship is over." Her. "What? You can't just end things over text. That's cowardly." Me. "Watch me." I blocked her number, but here's the thing about blocking someone. It only works if you block everyone connected to them. I didn't think to do that. The next 3 days were a nightmare. Her best friend called me 12 times. Each voicemail got progressively more hostile. Started with, "Please just call her back," and ended with, "You're going to regret this." Her sister sent me a Facebook message calling me emotionally stunted and clearly not ready for an adult relationship. Her ex sent me an email, an actual email to my work address, which means my girlfriend gave it to him, saying I was throwing away something beautiful over ego, and that I clearly had issues I needed to work through. My work email. She gave my work email to her ex-boyfriend so he could lecture me about our relationship. I didn't respond to stuff, any of it. Documented everything. Screenshots, timestamps, all of it. Then came the really dirty stuff. Her mom called my mom. My mom apparently got her number from my girlfriend's phone and called to discuss the situation. Told my mom that I was being cruel and vindictive and that her daughter was heartbroken. My mom, bless her, called me immediately. "What's going on?" "Some woman just called me crying about you breaking her daughter's heart." I explained the whole thing. The text, the ex, the request, all of it. My mom was quiet for a second. Then, "She wanted her ex-boyfriend to move into your house while dating you?" "Yep." "And she doesn't understand why that's a problem?" "Nope." "Honey, you dodged a bullet. Block them all and move on." God, I love my mom. But the escalation wasn't over. The following Monday, my girlfriend showed up at my job. I work as a project manager at a mid-size construction company. Professional environment, clients in and out. She marched into the front office during lunch hour, apparently told the receptionist she was my fiancée, and demanded to see me. By the time I got to the lobby, she was crying and making a scene, telling anyone who would listen that I'd abandoned her and turned cold overnight and wouldn't even tell her why. My boss came out to see what the commotion was. "You know this woman?" Unfortunately, she's my ex-girlfriend. She says you're engaged. We were dating, not engaged, never engaged. I ended things because she wanted to move her ex-boyfriend into my house. The receptionist's eyebrows shot up. A couple of coworkers who'd wandered over exchanged looks. I just want to talk to you, my girlfriend sobbed. Why won't you just talk to me? I deserve answers. Because you're at my workplace making a scene. This is exactly why I don't want to talk to you. I had to come here. You blocked me everywhere. What choice did I have? The choice to accept that it's over and move on. Move on? After 14 months? Just like that? You made the choice, not me. You chose your ex over our relationship. I didn't choose him. I was trying to help him. There's a difference. And I was trying to build a future with someone who apparently cares more about her ex's housing situation than her boyfriend's comfort. So here we are. She stared at me, mascara running, looking genuinely devastated. Part of me felt bad, a small part. The rest of me remembered the "some new guy" comment. My boss stepped in. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. This is a place of business. She looked around, finally seeming to realize the audience she'd gathered. Her face crumpled further. This isn't over, she whispered. Then she turned and left. My boss looked at me. You okay? Yeah, sorry about that. Not your fault, but document everything. If this continues, you might need a restraining order. I nodded. He wasn't wrong. That night I got a text from an unknown number. You humiliated her in front of everyone at your job. What kind of man does that to someone he claimed to love? This isn't who I raised. Her mother. Her mother was texting me from a burner number or something because I'd blocked her main one. I screenshot everything. Added it to the folder. Final update. 3 weeks later. The workplace incident was the turning point. After that day, I knew I needed to take this seriously. I consulted with a lawyer friend about my options. He advised continuing to document everything, and, if contact continued after a clear written request to stop, pursuing a harassment complaint. I sent one final message to my ex through email, the only channel I hadn't blocked, stating clearly, do not contact me again. Do not have your friends or family contact me. Do not come to my home or workplace. Any further contact will be considered harassment, and I will pursue legal action. I didn't expect that to stop anything, but I needed it on record. 2 days later, her ex emailed me again. Different email address since I'd blocked the first one. Just so you know, she's absolutely devastated. Can't eat, can't sleep, lost weight, all because you couldn't be a man about this situation and show some basic compassion. I hope you can live with yourself knowing what you did to her. I forwarded it to my lawyer friend with my cease and desist email attached. He agreed this was now crossing into actionable harassment territory. Then the mutual friends started getting weaponized. The guy who introduced us at that birthday party, we'd been friendly for years, called me out of the blue. Hey man, I'm not trying to get in the middle of anything, but she's really struggling. She called me crying last night. Can't you just hear her out? Give her closure or whatever? Did she tell you the full story? She said you broke up with her because you got jealous of a friend. Said you were always insecure about her having male friends. A friend? Right? Did she mention that friend is her ex-boyfriend of 4 years? And that she wanted him to move into my house with us? And that when I said no, her ex showed up at my door to pressure me? Long silence. She left those parts out. Yeah, I figured. There's also the part where she showed up at my job and caused a scene. And her mom calling my mom, and her ex emailing my work email to call me names. Bro, what? That's insane. It's been a fun few weeks. He apologized for calling and said he'd stay out of it. Actually apologized, not the fake sorry but apology. I appreciated that. Over the next week, I had similar conversations with 3 other mutual friends. Each one had been given a heavily edited version of events where I was the villain who couldn't handle his girlfriend having friends. Each one backed off once they heard the full story. The narrative she'd been spinning was that I was controlling and jealous and threw away the relationship over nothing. The truth was significantly different, and the truth was starting to spread. 2 weeks after the workplace incident, her dad reached out. First contact I'd had from him. Look, I know you've had issues with my daughter, but I wanted you to know that I've talked to her about boundaries. Her mother and I don't agree on everything right now, but I told my daughter that showing up at your work was wrong. That's not how adults handle things. I appreciate that. I also told her that the whole ex-boyfriend idea was unconventional. To say the least, I don't know why she thought that would fly. Neither do I. Anyway, I just wanted you to know that not everyone in this family has lost their minds. I'm sorry for how this has gone down. It was unexpected, and honestly, it helped. At least one person in her orbit could see reality. A few days after that, I heard through the grapevine what happened next. Her ex never found that convenient living arrangement he was hoping for. Without my house as an option, and with my ex-girlfriend's reputation taking hits in their social circle, no one else was volunteering their space either. He bounced between couches for a few weeks before finally getting a studio apartment on the far side of the metro area. According to mutual friends, he's been complaining constantly about the commute and how small the place is. My ex-girlfriend? Her lease ended. She had nowhere to go. She burned the bridge with me. Her relationship with her parents was strained after her dad publicly disagreed with her mom about the situation, and most of her friends had gotten the full story by now and were maintaining distance. Guess who offered her a couch? Yeah, the ex. The just a friend ex. She's crashing at his tiny studio temporarily, while she figures things out. So they're living together anyway. After all that drama about how I was being paranoid and insecure, and how they were just friends. Funny how that worked out. Her mom, from what I've heard through the grapevine, is furious. Not at her daughter for creating this mess, obviously. At the ex for taking advantage of her vulnerable emotional state. Sure, lady. That's what happened. Her best friend, the one who called me 12 times, apparently told another mutual friend that I obviously dodged a major bullet. And that she always thought the ex thing was weird but didn't want to say anything. Classic. The dad sent me one more message a week ago. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. My daughter made choices that I don't understand, and you didn't deserve how this played out. I hope you find someone who appreciates what you have to offer. I wrote back, thank you. I hope your family works through this. As for me, I finished the house renovations. The kitchen looks exactly how I wanted it. The guest room, the one that was supposed to house my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend in some twisted sitcom arrangement, is now a home office. Built-in bookshelves, a nice desk, good lighting. I work from home a couple days a week now, and it's peaceful. I've been seeing a therapist. Not because I'm broken, but because I wanted to understand how I ended up in a relationship where something this absurd felt almost normal by the end. How I dismissed so many red flags as quirks or her being caring. Turns out, I have a pattern of giving too much benefit of the doubt, of assuming good intentions when the evidence suggests otherwise, of being the cool boyfriend who doesn't get jealous even when jealousy might be warranted. She tested boundaries our entire relationship. Little things I rationalized away. The ex commenting heart emojis on every photo. The late-night phone calls I wasn't supposed to know about. The friendly dinners she'd have with him that I wasn't invited to. The way she'd bring him up in conversation constantly, almost like she was gauging my reaction. I never reacted. I was too busy being mature and trusting. And she took that as permission to push further and further until she finally found my limit. Well, she found it. I don't hate her. I'm not even that angry anymore. Mostly I'm just tired and relieved that I'm not spending my energy managing someone else's inappropriate relationship with their ex. The house is quiet now. I like it that way. Some things you have to lose to realize what you actually want. I wanted peace. I wanted a partnership where I'm not competing with someone's past. I wanted a future with someone who sees me as the priority, not as some new guy who should be grateful for the scraps of attention after her ex gets his fill. I wanted better.
And now I have the space to find it.